Sports Today. The coaches back-to-back for Parkland Mazda and the all-new Mazda 6.
On 882 6PR.
Yeah, with Brad and Pete, and he had to miss us last week, unfortunately, due to a funeral, so condolences to to whoever that may have been. G'day, Ross.
Good, Brad. How are you? Peter?
Going pretty well. Well, the weekend, I don't think you could say that the blokes didn't have a red-hot go, but I just wonder in that first quarter if you'd like to have that time over again.
Oh, look, we were out of the blocks really slowly. I thought our energy and our intensity, they dominated first 12 clearances, I think, with 2-10 their way. And they scored. They took some big contested marks. And, we didn't spread that well. We didn't defend very well. But then after, Birchall got off the chain a bit. And, so it was all over the park, really. But we readjusted and we found some intensity. And, middle two quarters, and we kicked the first 3 or 4 in the last. And then we couldn't quite finish when we needed to, come from behind. They're as good as we played. So it was disappointing overall. Hard
for the listeners to see on the radio and on TV, the win. But yeah. I just felt as though the Blazers could have been a little bit smarter, because your last kick into the forward 50, they were just trying to be a little bit too good. I mean, there was an opportunity, I thought, Ross. There was a bit of a breeze there that to have if you got the ball in the right hands of a Hill or someone, you could actually kick from anywhere around 50 and probably nailed a goal.
Yeah, you're right. We had the first 4 opportunities, I think, and unusually Michael Walters had 2 of them, and not much happened. He had Mundy running past, missed him, and we bombed it a bit to centre half forward. It was really disappointing. I mean, in the 9 entries, we didn't take a mark, and we kicked 2 points. We should have, and then a fumble, and Kepler slipped over in front of goal, and Sonny fumbled it, so there should have been 2. And then they scored really easy. So it was we expected a lot better of ourselves, and the coaches and players are in it together. We botched a strong opportunity the week before, got 3 quarters right, and you botched 15, and rather than be 3-1, we're 2-2. So massive game this week. The Tigers will be keen to atone, and Friday night, the Len Hall game, really honour the Anzacs and play, the Anzac spirit. So, it's a big week and a short turnaround, so we're excited.
No, Ross, Peter here, they do it really well too, Fremantle. Everybody certainly looks forward to the Len Hall game, and it should be a beauty on Friday night. More positives or negatives that come out of the weekend, because you spoke at the post-match press conference about, the unearthing of some young talent that hopefully will hold the Fremantle Dockers well going into the future.
Yeah, well, Tanner Smith, young key defender. Look, he's got a lot to learn, but he's big and he's raw. So we're hopeful Luke McFarlane will come back, and we expected Luke to play all week, but he failed to pass it, then failed it, so that ruled him out on the day of the game. And so he got an opportunity. Will he hold his spot? I mean, that's up for debate. Do we push him forward? So we've got to work our way through that yet.
Mate, Nick Subban was an interesting one. Very rarely see a bloke substituted out of the game without having an injury at that stage.
Yeah, well, rules are made to be broken. So.
I know, but obviously, was it something in particular, or was the fact that he wasn't getting his hands on the ball? Was he?
Well, the
was
game
he not
was
doing...
going away from us when we felt like we worked into it. Just asked a question, and he'd had 1 touch in I don't know how many minutes of footy, but playing in the midfield on the wing, so he didn't look to be at his best. But he's been, quite solid for us, and it's disappointing for Nick because he's had a super summer and he started the year well, and for whatever reason he was a bit off on the weekend. So we'll sit down and assess it. I need to spend some time with Nick and check in with him, which I really haven't had. We've had our review, but individually they have today off. So I'll get to Nick, and we really need him and try and get him up if we can.
Well, looking to the Tigers this week, as you say, I mean, they failed for a quarter themselves. Collingwood blew them apart in that third quarter and really put the game beyond their reach, but they're going to rebound, and they've got some quality. That midfield of theirs is real quality, and if Riewoldt, I mean, people are knocking Riewoldt, but he's still up and around the place in regards to Coleman medal and the like, which means that he's having a reasonable season.
Well, he's handy. He smacked the Saints, and then you've watched more footy than me. I haven't. I watched it tonight, so I'm a little bit behind. But I'm in my office and I'm looking at the tags and see Martin, Deledio, Tuck, Cochin, Jackson, Grigg. I mean, Conker, they're pretty handy. So it's going to be a battle of the midfields. And I thought, the Hawthorn midfield dominated our midfield. Really, Burgoyne, and Isaac Smith, and they really don't. They kicked 9 goals from stoppages and 4 out of the middle. So, and most of it was the midfield, really. Midfield spread. There was a couple of contested marks late, but midfield spread really got hold of us. So, our midfield are aware of that, and they've been super for us for a long time. But they need to lift.
Ross, we've had some animated discussion, certainly in the first half hour of the program with Brad and myself and callers. People are getting less patient these days when it comes to football, and particularly their local teams like Fremantle and West Coast when they go down as they did on the weekend. I'm saying it's a marathon, not a sprint this season. How do you actually plan as you go forward week by week, knowing there's still 18 weeks to go and people already are passing judgment on the football club?
Well, that's what we're entitled to do. That's why we love it. We get judged on our performance. It's high-performance sport. It's a cauldron of opinion. And look, you take the bouquets and you take the kicks in the butt. So, look, we focus on. We can't get caught up in the emotion of it. Look, we're really disappointed. We don't like losing, and we're 2-2 in the seasons. We lost 5 on the trot last year, and we just got to try and write our own story. So we need to prepare really well, learn our lessons from the weekend, and I think. In my press conference, and the guys from Perth were writing about missing players and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, we played a very good football team. They're as good as anyone in the competition. So I think we need to dip our lid to Hawthorn about what they did to us, and we need to learn some lessons. And look, we pulled it back to 16 points, but I'm more concerned about the first 40 minutes when we weren't at a level that was expected. So we'll take the heat from that, but we need to. Look, it's no more important to Richmond than it is to us. So we're at home, Len Hall game, honour Anzac Day and those that have passed and continue to protect us. And we're looking for a good showing, and we know it's going to be a fierce game, but if you're going to be a good team, you've got to beat good teams. So we're not looking for easy games.
Richmond certainly aren't Hawthorn, but they've got a few left-footers like Grigg and Coe and Newman who love the direct play.
Hawley, Newman out the back. Hawley, Pettard's really lifted for him. You got Grigg, so Conker, Edwards in the front half, and Vickery and McGuire's really having a breakout year. Then you add in Knights, who's the left footer, so Marek in the ruck, who's really come of age. So look, there's a reason they're much hyped and they're really dangerous, and so look, we see it as a challenge. We need to stand up and we need to deliver on our effort and our game plan, and I'm sure that will hold us in really good stead.
I think you send Crowley to Martin. I think he only had 2 touches in the last half yesterday or on Saturday, which is pretty poor.
Who went to him?
Pretty poor. I haven't seen exactly went through him, but I know he only had the 2 touches. So I think Cochin, you just got to try and limit his touches, I reckon. I don't think his kicking efficiency's as good as it should have been for a player of his ability, but I think if you can snuff the other bloke out, you're pretty much right, I reckon.
Well, they're elite. I think if you just focus on, we saw that on the weekend. Mitchell and Hodge didn't have big games, but it was really, the so-called lesser lights that got hold of us. But although Buddy's handy, so they're 2 key forwards, kicked 8 and had 20 possessions each, so it's a big day for them. But look, we're really confident we'll rebound with effort and game plan, and we just need to see where that takes us.
Not that I want to get too far ahead of myself, but obviously you looked a little uneven. In the forward half, you had Main coming out at some stage. You had Barlow, who are sort of mids rather than genuine tools. So I suppose, where are you at in terms of developing someone? I know you've got to get McFarlane back, and that might release someone else. And we know Pav's out.
Maybe McFarlane goes forward. I think that Tanner Smith stays, McFarlane goes forward. Look, I've experienced this before when Reebok went down and tried. There's 3 weeks of trying to get the formula right, but there's some lessons learned. Probably ignored the lessons, but. About structure and what you need. So we'll have a good look at that this week and try and draw on that experience to help balance this team up.
No doubt from a Fremantle point of view. Has Pav had his operation as yet, Ross?
Yeah, he flew. I saw him yesterday. He flew out, being done today. Look, it's not ideal, is it? 4 weeks in losing. Excuse me to your viewers. But look, he's having an operation where we're optimistic. 4 to 6 weeks, but I'll get the feedback, I'd imagine, later tonight or tomorrow, and we'll let everyone know from there.
Mm-hmm. What about your waffle players? Anybody pushing up? Anybody shown any form that may be worth consideration coming to the game on Friday?
Yeah, look, Crozier's been good. Sheridan's been solid. They're the main guys. Silvani should be available from injury. Simpson and Duffy, young players, been a bit inconsistent. But, our talls have been out, really, which is, Clark and Silvani and Fawkes with injuries. So we're not super tall, so it's mostly runners.
How far away are they? Because, look, a lot of people say, he's not the answer. But, sometimes it just gives you that flexibility,
No, you're right. You're exactly. Look, we needed a get-out kick, and, it's no coincidence Ballantyne and Wilders didn't have great games because we didn't bring it. It was Kepler. Kepler could have kicked 5, kicked 3, slipped over and dropped 1. So, if only we're a nearly team on the weekend. So.
Did you show Ryan Crowley that blooper?
No, I think it was bad enough. I think you guys were reminding me of that.
I tell you what was interesting, Ross.
Yeah, look, the game was won and lost in the first 40 minutes. From there, coming from behind a super team, I thought we had opportunities, not enough polish. We got within 16, could have been a little bit closer, but we'll learn some really valuable lessons out of it. But we want to be an anywhere, anytime team, and we certainly didn't deliver on that. So as a collective, coaches and player group, we win and lose together, and we all, I certainly wasn't at my best and the player group weren't, but, for our supporters and members, we're aiming to get to work on Friday night.
What did you do wrong?
Supporters.
What did you do wrong?
I turned up, Brett.
I've got to ask you this before you go, Ross. I know I was at a press conference a couple of weeks ago when Brendan Goddard came up in conversation. Did you see him after the match, Essendon and St Kilda on the weekend? He got a bit emotional. He said that he was very unhappy that his former club actually lost.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it, but
he actually got very teary. He got very teary. Is he an emotional sort of character?
In all honesty, it's been that long ago, I can't remember.
Anyway.
He's right up there with Blubber Watson. Don't worry about that. Good on you, Ross.
Right.
Good luck
Thanks,
on
guys.
Friday.
Cheers,
Great
mate.
game
Thanks,
it is.
mate.
Len Hall tradition game, and for the Anzacs, it's going to be an absolute beauty. Ross Lyon there. We will take a quick hiatus. Come back with Scotty Burns for the West Coast Eagles for Parkland Mazda. Coaches back to back.